Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station. And our morning show, it's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. Our WTIM Pana morning show with Pana civic, business, and nonprofit leaders comes to you from our Taylorville studios. We're also brought to you in part by Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Bob Riding's Pana, the Pana and Nokomis Dairy Queen, and the Okanee Chop Shop. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. In this segment, we are joined by Scott Dorr. Scott is superintendent of Nokomis CUSD number 22. Scott, good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Grayson. Doing just fine, and yourself?
I'm doing well on this end, and thank you for asking. And Scott, obviously the week is a little, it's off to a weird start for you, but we're back in the building here for Tuesday, and we're joined by you here today, and we want to thank you for that. I figure this morning was probably a busy one for you. So, Scott, I'm wondering, you told me there's two big things right now we've got to talk about, and the first one, I certainly feel like we've got to talk about it. I don't want to take any words from you. I don't want to steal your thunder here, but Scott, you've got a big plan coming up in a year. What can you tell listeners?
Well, yeah, I have announced my retirement at the end of the 26-27 school year. So that will put me at 18 years as superintendent of Nokomis and 33 years in K-12 education as a teacher, principal, coach, superintendent, all the above.
And Scott, after all those years now for you, being at Nokomis now for 17, in year 17 right now, what are you making of this moment as you kind of see it come to a close? I know you still got time, but how are you feeling on a personal note?
It's obviously bittersweet. I've put in a lot of time into making sure our district, keeps up with new learning, maintaining budgetary and fiscal responsibilities for the community, and obviously working on building upgrades and renovations, curriculum updates, bringing on all kinds of new programming, either, through dual credit or vocational education. Me and the team, along with our teachers and staff, have done a great job of making sure that our students have, all the opportunities they can have to be successful as they graduate.
And it's got to make you feel a little bit better than in terms of your eventual leaving and exit from the role, to leave it in a good spot. I have to imagine that that's got you feeling a whole lot better about it. Talk to me a little bit, Scott, about 17 years now as Nokomis superintendent, but how did we maybe get to this position within the Nokomis school district? What kind of brought you to this spot?
Oh man, back in 2008, 2009 school year, I was a high school principal at another district, and had just finished up my superintendent's endorsement and decided, it was time to move up and look. And as the Nokomis position was open, I researched it. Actually talked to a teacher that I was the principal of, who had lived in this area, who had given me a lot of good information about the school and the district, and found that it's a good place to be. So we went ahead and applied, and had a grueling interview with the board, and got to meet teachers and community members, and eventually they and I came to a understanding that this was going to be my new spot, and my hope is obviously to be here as long as I could, and I have a great board. We have great staff here. The community has always been very supportive of their schools. So there's so many great things going on here at Nokomis that it was an easy decision to keep maintaining my tenure here.
I can imagine. For you, a quick question for you, Scott. Was this always something you thought about doing? Was being an administrator on the administration side, becoming a superintendent, possibly? Was that always on your radar?
Not really. My goal was always to be a high school history teacher, and I did that for 2 years, and then switched districts and went to become a middle school history, social studies teacher, PE teacher, coach. Did that for several years, and as my principal was announcing his retirement, I thought, is this something I want to do? And obviously my coworkers and my wife, kind of guided me and helped me make that decision. And so I went back and got my master's in administration and really haven't looked back. So, after that, you get your superintendent's endorsement. And then I got the crazy idea after I finished that to continue on for my PhD. So, it's definitely been a lifelong learning experience.
I wonder for you in terms of what you plan to do. We kind of got to talk about that for just a moment, and it sounds like you've just been so education focused for so many years, or that it's kind of, I don't want to say it's all you know, but you love it, and
Yeah.
it's hard for you to leave it almost.
Almost, because I help teach dual credit classes as well in the field of education, and so I spend a lot of time in not only pre-K 12 but now higher ed a little bit. But the goal is to retire and do some traveling. My girls and I have always done a lot of traveling over the last many years. And so that's the goal, not only to get to all 50 states, which I'm probably more than halfway through now, but, get over into Europe and other locations to, see the world.
Well, you're talking to somebody who does enjoy those things as well, and so I really would love that to be a reality for you. If you would, Scott, what are you maybe most proud of over these 17 years? And I know, I mean, we're talking a laundry list of things I'm sure that you're proud of, or if you have multiple. But what stands out to you during your tenure in the last 17 years?
Oh my goodness. There is so much that we have done over the last 17 years, from maintaining our fiscal integrity. We went through proration, we went through COVID, we went through everything, anything and everything that could be thrown at us. We met head on and we faced it. And so, I'm proud to say that the next person that comes in will maintain the fiscal responsibility that we've done. Between that and the curriculum development that we've done, not only in our core subject areas, but bringing in dual credit courses, establishing our new special education co-op, adding vocational courses, joining the SCI Center in Litchfield. It's all been something that has to be kid focused. And if I can look back and say, did we make good decisions for kids? I can say, yes, we did.
And I think for you, that is one way of making this exit that much easier for you. On top of that, you mentioned to me that you've got a great board, you've got great staff underneath you. How crucial have they been to this growth for Nakoma School District?
Oh, they are, top notch people. They even take some of my wild ideas and run with them. um, you got to obviously have board support when you do that, but you also have to have your teachers and your staff, say, yeah, that this is something we can do, or this is something we need. And they dig in and help right away. I've been very, very fortunate here at Nokomis to have, all those things. And so we have dug in and pulled up our sleeves and got to work. And, I honestly believe, like I said, we did it for the kids, and now they have opportunities that, some small rural school districts may not have for their students. And so I think, all of us together as a team have to work together to make that possible.
And you do need a team behind you, and a quality team makes it that much easier on you. And I know we're talking to you today about your retirement, and of course, congratulations to you on it. But I know that you also understand there were a lot of people that probably helped you get to that point too.
Absolutely.
And so it's great to be able to kind of highlight some of those things and talk to you about those. Scott, if I asked you to put a bow on all of this in terms of your eventual exit from the district, your tenure now over 17 years as superintendent. If I asked you to put a bow on this retirement announcement here today, how would you maybe do so?
Wow, I think it's just a culmination of, good people helping make good decisions and doing what's best for K-12 kiddos and education, and moving forward. We got to continually look forward as we plan for the next generation of kids, and hoping that we, make those decisions based on their needs.
Beautiful. Well, Scott, let's take ourselves a break and we'll talk about, I guess, your eventual successor and maybe some things that are coming up here for you as you start to round out here your tenure. But again, congratulations to you, Scott. We're joined right now by Superintendent Scott Dorr of Nokomis CUSD number 22 here on the WTIM Pana Morning Show. We'll come back and we'll talk more with Scott about what's going on with Nokomis when we return. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
WTIM. 2,000 is the number of discounts that our Farm Bureau members have exclusive access to. With the Identity app, Farm Bureau members can save big on travel, a new vehicle, farm and garden equipment, restaurants, theme parks, and more. There are discounts that every family can take advantage of. You can access this Farm Bureau membership benefit with the Identity app for Android and iPhone. Want to get in on those 302,000 benefits? Contact your County Farm Bureau office for more information or visit ilfb.org.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Two-sided trade with corn, beans, and Chicago wheat. March corn down a penny, 4.27 1/4. May corn down 3/4, 4.35 1/4. December new crop 4.54 1/2, down half a penny. March beans up 4 3/4, 10.66 1/2. May beans up a nickel, 10.79, and November new crop 10.82 3/4, up 3 3/4. March Chicago wheat up 1 1/4, 5.23 3/4.
Could you use some extra cash in your savings account? Then you need to sign up for People's Bank and Trust Save by Spending's Roundup program. I'm Julie Sanchez with People's Bank and Trust. Simply use your debit card like you always do, and we will round up your purchases to the next dollar. The extra change is then transferred to your savings account. There's never been an easier way to save. Call 888-PBT-1954 today to find out more. People's Bank and Trust, we put you and your savings first. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Lady Tornado basketball team are on 96.5 thechill.com again this season. Listen on air or online for Lady Tornado basketball and playoff games brought to you by the Taylorville Community Credit Union, the Christian County YMCA, Rural Rentals, and Scooter's Coffee.
The purple and gold are coming your way. The Taylorville Tornadoes are going to do it today.
Troy, your negotiating skills are legendary. I heard you convinced a cat to take a bath twice.
Well...
And you talked a sloth into running a marathon.
What?
And you recently negotiated a rock-bottom price on a truckload of brand new high-efficiency comfort systems for Jansen's Heating and Air.
Okay, that one is true.
And since Jansen's bought in bulk, I heard our awesome customers can replace their older, inefficient furnaces and air conditioners as a pair and save $1,867.
100% accurate.
Rumor has it these comfort systems are not refurbs or scratch and dents.
That's right. They're factory fresh, fully warranted, and currently sitting in our warehouse.
But with savings of $1,867, I hear they won't last long.
You can believe they will sell out.
So, Troy, is it true that you once sold a snooze button to a rooster?
Sure.
I knew it.
Save at least $1,867 from Jansen's Heating and Air. JansensHeating.com.
WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Pana Morning Show with Pana Civic, business and nonprofit leaders coming to you from our Taylorville studios. The WTIM Pana Morning Show, it's brought to you by our title sponsor and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, along with Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Bob Riding's Pana, the Pana and Nokomis Dairy Queen, and the Oconee Chop Shop, as well as Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Our guest in this segment, Scott Dorr, Superintendent of Nokomis CUSD number 22. We talked about the fact that, well, Scott plans to retire at the end of the next school year. And Scott, the first question I've got for you here in our second segment is, what's the succession plan look like? What's the plan that Nokomis has moving forward for you, the superintendent role?
Yeah, so the board and I had this discussion several months ago about what that looks like, and they came to the determination that let's hire earlier, let's hire sooner, because of not only the background I have in education, but the institutional knowledge I have here at Nokomis. And so that's what we decided to do. The board had put out a notice to hire kind of like my successor, who will sit with me, for a year, and I can train them and teach them not only about, our curriculum, our finances, everything that we do here at Nokomis, to make sure that they're prepared to move into that role the year after that.
If I am the person that's coming into this role, I'm excited about that plan personally, where I feel like I'm not just being kind of thrown to the wolves. And for you and the board to be able to come up with a plan like that, I feel like that just leads to that much more success. So you've got a second shadow coming up.
I do. Yeah. The board hired my replacement last Tuesday night at their regularly scheduled board meeting. So we're happy to announce that, Mrs. Gilletta Ellis will take over for me. Mrs. Ellis is not new to the area. She currently is the executive director of the SCI Innovation Center over in Litchfield. She was a Litchfield High School principal. She was a middle school principal at Pana, taught English for many years. So she has, the background and the knowledge to, help lead the district moving forward.
Yeah, I was going to say, it definitely sounds like plenty of experience and knowledge to be brought into the role. And then, so now you're not even working necessarily with somebody that's, I guess, unaware of how administration and those things go. You're bringing in somebody that's got a pretty good base of knowledge. I have to imagine that's going to help in the process as well. When will that start for Mrs. Ellis and yourself?
Yeah, Mrs. Ellis will start July 1st. After her contract ends this year, so she'll come in July 1st, and we'll roll up our sleeves and get started. The biggest issue with a new superintendent, that most new superintendents face are school finances. It's difficult when you deal with the state of Illinois and all the regulations and so forth. So, that's going to be our main focus, is not only to learn the people and the curriculum and the buildings, but we're gonna dig into finance and make sure she has a great understanding of how that works and how we've done that over the last 17 years.
But it's such a benefit to her, right, to be left a school district at the end of next year that's in a good spot. You're not coming in and trying to overhaul or you're not coming in having to change things necessarily. Right. You can change things based on some time that is allowed with it.
Exactly.
Well, so, Scott, for us here today, sir, we are just about out of time. I'm wondering, how do we close things out here today? I'm going to leave that to you. How do we close things out today after this whole conversation?
Hey, so we're, Nokomis School District is continuing to move forward. Maybe next month we'll talk about, what we're doing this summer. As our community knows, we've renovated our buildings over the last 5 or 6 years. We're getting ready to start the last phase of those renovations. So we're going to have a busy summer and keep moving forward.
Busy summer, same results, hopefully, with new folks and new faces. Scott, thank you for joining me here today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Scott Dorr, Superintendent of Nokomis CUSD number 22, joining us here on the WTIM Pana Morning Show, talking to us about his eventual retirement. We'll be back tomorrow morning.
WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5.